Hi sewing friends, welcome to my sewing room. My name is Beth, and if you're new, welcome. Today I'm making a really simple pot holder. I'm making it for a gift using this easy quilt block. Let's get started. For my quilt block today, I'm using some 2-inch squares. I have 8 green 2-inch squares, and I have some 2.5-inch squares, 4 red and 4 green, to make my half square triangles. Draw a line through the middle, diagonally, corner to corner, to make my half square triangles. And you could go a little bit bigger. I'm using 2.5-inch squares. I have just a teeny tiny bit left when I square these up to 2 inches. And if yours, you can't make it to 2 inches, then I would just make these squares a little bigger. These squares do not have to be exact. We're just going to sew on either side of that pencil line. I'll cut along the pencil line, I'll press these open, and then I'll trim them all to 2 inches. Now that all my pieces are ready to go, I'm going to take those half square triangles and put those red triangles facing each other, and then I'll add the 2-inch squares on the other 2 corners of this 4-patch. 4 of these little 4 patches for my quilt block today. I'm arranging them like this. They're all going the same direction. It kind of gives a pretty star effect. If I turn 2 of them, you'll see this is a different kind of star, more of a classic quilt block, but when I turn them like this, it just gives a different look to this very simple quilt block. And I'm going to sew these 4 patches together, and when I get them all together, it should measure 6.5 inches. After I sew them together, I'm going to add a border. I'm using this really pretty blue fabric. I just love this blue. It has both the green and the red in that print, so it really sort of highlights those colors. One strip is 2 inch by 6.5 inches here. I'll need to cut another 2 inch by 6.5 inch, and then the longer strips will be 2 inch by 9.5 inches for a border for this quilt block that I'll be turning into a pot holder. I'm using some Insol Bright here for my pot holder. In the past on my channel, I've used a lot of recycled towels, but I had this Insol Bright and I'm going to be using that today. I will cut a square that's a little bit smaller than that 9.5 inches. So I'm going to be cutting it 9 inches so that I do not have this in the seam when I sew the backing onto my pot holder. The packaging on the Insol Bright says that you also need a layer of batting, so I had this piece of batting that's just a little bit shy of that 9 inches, but I'm going to use it anyway. It was a leftover piece, and I do like leftovers. It just makes me feel thrifty to use what I have on hand, and especially those little pieces that don't always have a purpose. So now I'm going to quilt just these 3 layers together, and I'm going to start by going diagonally through the seams. I'll try to do sort of a stitch in the ditch method where I'm going to aim for the seams. When I get to the seams, this one in the middle is just going to go right through the middle. As you can see, I did not stitch through the border yet. So for the border, I'm going to just again follow that seam all the way around. and that will be my quilting stitches for this little project. Found this pretty red for the backing, and I'll be cutting that the same size as my pot holder here, and then I'm going to sew all the way around, leaving an opening so that I can turn this right side out. I pressed in that opening, I pressed in the edges at that opening, and then I will be top stitching all the way around the outside edge of this beautiful quilt block, this pot holder. This little project is all ready to go. It turned out so pretty. Just those fabrics, in my opinion, are beautiful, and I love the way that blue frames the red and green with these colors. Thanks for joining me today, and I'll see you next time.